Season 1, Episode 4, The Chef Who Lost His Appetite. In this fourth story, we meet Julian, a chef who mastered the symphony of flavors, only to find the main ingredient of his own life had soured. The call came not with a sizzle pan, but with a dull thud. For 30 years, Julian had been a maestro in the kitchen. His domain was a world of fire and ice, of sharp knives and simmering sauces. He spoke a language of seasonings, textures, and culinary artists whose canvas was a dinner plate. He was a creator, a man who could turn simple ingredients into a masterpiece. His identity was wrapped in the joy he brought to others, the praise he received for his perfectly seared scallops or for his rich, complex bouillabaisse. He knew how to fix a culinary mistake to salvage any dish. The diagnosis, prostate cancer, was a flavor he had never tasted and a recipe he could not follow. The doctor's office was as plain and unseasoned room with no familiar smells, no comforting rhythm of clanking pots and pans. The news was like a bitter aftertaste that lingered in his mouth, contaminating everything. He felt his carefully constructed identity as master chef began to dissolve. He could tell others how to nourish their bodies, but he didn't know how to nourish his own. He came home that day and he found no comfort in the aroma of garlic and onions. He watched his wife, a baker named Marie, work with the delicate precision he no longer felt he possessed. She would ask him, "What can I do for you?" And he would just shake his head. It felt like a cruel joke. He had spent his life creating food, but now he had no appetite for his own life. He'd always known how to lead in the kitchen, but now he felt completely lost. One day, his daughter, a young culinary student, came over with a simple dish that she had prepared for him. He pushed the plate away, out of anger, but not out of anger, but from a deep, gnawing sadness. She sat down beside him, her hands so much like his own, trembling slightly. "Dad," she said, "you always told me that the best dishes are made with love, not just skill, and that the most important ingredient is sharing it with others." Her words were a mirror, showing him a reflection of the man that he used to be. That night, Maria helped him to find a support group, a circle of men who met, not in a sterile clinic, but a small community kitchen. He was skeptical, thinking it would be a place of blandness and despair. Instead, he found a different kind of kitchen, one that was filled with a different kind of nourishment. They were men who had tasted the same bitter pill that he had. They spoke not of their illness, but of their lives, their kids, their passions, their fears. They shared their campfire cancer survivor stories. A retired landscaper, a man named Leo, he spoke of being a wilting plant, of a life he thought was over. But in his circle, he found new purpose, a new message to carry. He said his prostate attitude wasn't going to be about cooking a perfect meal. It was about learning how to find the flavor in every single moment. And as Julian listened to these men, a profound truth began to emerge. His life wasn't just a recipe to be followed. It was a journey that he realized is best when taken with others. He understood that vulnerability wasn't a lack of control, but the first step in a new recipe. He went home that night and he finally truly talked to his wife, Maria. And he spoke of the fear of losing his identity, of not being able to find the joy in food anymore. And as he spoke, he felt a profound sense of relief and a long simmering sauce that he had finally found its flavor. He was still a chef, but he was no longer a chef that was alone. He still had a long road ahead, but as he stood in the kitchen with Marie, he knew his passion hadn't gone anywhere. He had found a new kind of community, He was ready to get back to work, and he was ready to cook again.